The first piece that we're going to play for you today is a piece by Leanne Darling. She's a violist. She's a violist that lives in New York City, and she's of Persian descent. So she has a background in classical music. She's a classical musician and kind of explored her roots later on in her life. And one of the things that she did was she started playing that music herself as a violist and then composing it and getting it composed or arranging it. And in this case, what you're hearing is if anybody has Arabic roots, Persian roots, has any knowledge of these tunes, you may recognize some of them or you may recognize fragments. What we're going to present to you is a piece called Isma. And in that piece, you'll hear sort of three sections. You'll hear sort of an opening, a taksim it's called, where we have a soloist. Ruben is going to play the solo, and when he plays that solo, he's the opener. Like, he's the one who gets everybody ready. He kind of comes forward and says, hey, everyone, listen, we're going to play something for you now. And then we have two further sections that get more and more energetic, and we really finish with a rock and roll style ending. And what you'll hear throughout the piece is that the cellos and even the violas, all players do this at some point, but these two sections will really represent a lot of the percussion from this tradition. So they'll be playing their instruments not in a percussive way, but the notes they're playing are kind of designed to represent that percussive quality. Okay? So here's Leanne Darling's Isma. Thank you very much. The next piece we're going to play for you, our 4 pieces today are kind of, and now for something completely different throughout the program. The next piece we're going to play for you, a Fantasia on a 17th century tune. It's an old tune that you may recognize, some of you. But it's presented numerous ways, and it's presented with a lot of kind of what you might call 19th century or even 20th century harmony, sort of Brahmsian harmonies going on underneath. So it's a very challenging piece for us, even though the tune is quite simple. You'll hear the cellos going up into the stratosphere, and you'll hear other people kind of moving around and playing different rhythms underneath. So it's a very challenging piece for us. And this is the kind of music that sometimes orchestra directors don't like to do because it's slow. Slow is hard. It's actually harder in some cases. How many people would say it's harder? Right? Playing slow is hard because when you get a little bit anxious, guess what your bow does? So we've worked really hard on this. It's a very challenging piece for us, but it's a lovely, lovely arrangement. And we hope you enjoy Fantasia on a 17th century tune. Continuing with our theme of something completely different, incredibly diverse program today. The next piece we're going to play for you is an arrangement of The Gordian Knot Untied by Henry Purcell. Henry Purcell, very famous English composer, but of a very, very, very long time ago. So this arrangement is actually not like the arrangement we just heard by Richard Steffen. That arrangement, you know, took it into the kind of more modern era, added all of this additional harmony, all of these additional things. This next piece is really an arrangement of the original. It's the original music. It's Purcell's music. It's one movement that's played together, a slow movement and a fast movement that's played together in kind of an ABA form. But it's the original stuff. It's just that if you look at the original parts, there's no bowings, there's no fingerings, there's no nothing. So this allows it to be kind of digested by young players a lot quicker. This is a very challenging piece also because it has a slow introduction and then a faster piece that's very fugue-like. They chase each other around the music, kind of going from theme to theme. And also I just wanted to say for anybody who's new or watching us online who's new, what you just saw was our seating rotation. We do that with all of our orchestras. It's really important to have a diverse experience when sitting in the group. It's great to sit in the front row. It feels like you're like in it. But when you sit in the back, you have to be a much stronger leader, actually, from the back. So the people who were sitting in the very front are now sitting in the very back. That's not because they got demoted. Okay? We just try to rotate things around. Every once in a while I make a mistake and somebody sits and gets to be the center of the world where everything rotates around them. But most of the time, we rotate the seats. And so the idea there is just that it's a very different experience to sit in the front versus sitting in the back, and we want them to all be comfortable being leaders from wherever they are. So here we have The Gordian Knot Untied. So there may be some people in the audience today that recognized the arranger's name in the last piece we just played, Andy Dabchinsky. Andrew Dabchinsky was a graduate student, doctoral student at the Eastman School of Music, and while he was here, he did a lot of things. Did a lot of really great musical things for the community, made a lot of things happen, but he also is a fabulous fiddle player, arranger, classical musician, teacher of many people, many things. And so it's kind of a great pleasure to do something that reflects some of the people who've been in our community and have gone on to kind of share their musical gifts with other folks and write arrangements for young orchestras like this. The last piece we're going to play for you is a rock tune. It is a straight-ahead rock tune. It's an original composition by a man named Robert Gardner. Robert Gardner was the conductor of this orchestra and the HPO in 2001 and 2002, maybe in 2000 as well, for 3 years, I think. So he was here, also a graduate student, doctoral student at at Eastman School, and he's now the professor of music education in strings at Penn State University. And he's written and arranged a lot of music, but like me, like a lot of us, we like a lot of different kinds of music, and one of the kinds of music that I like, Robert likes, many of you like, is rock and roll. This tune kind of gives us a chance to really kind of lay into the instrument in a way that we're not really taught to. It's not always a good thing to play the way we're about to play for you, because we're going to go for it. Right? We're going to be a good rhythm guitarist, you have to be rock solid, locked into the drummer, but guess what we don't have? A drummer. So they're it. You'll hear them be the rhythm guitarist when they're playing straight ahead eighth notes, really kind of laying into it. So this is a composition kind of in the style of Green Day or something like that you might think of. But Robert has done a lot of really fun things for string orchestra, and we're happy to close with this piece called Today.